I was 13, I got kidnapped by a man that I met on Snapchat. Some of you guys might actually remember because our local news station covered the story after they found me, but I was the Florida girl that got kidnapped. My parents didn't know that I had Snapchat at first. I don't really think they understood what social media was that much either, not besides Facebook. They didn't really understand what Snapchat was. I only downloaded it because all of my friends had it and we'd send snaps back and forth. When I turned 13, I threw a slumber party and all of my friends came over and we all had our little phones and we all added a bunch of boys from Snapchat. We just wanted to have fun and talk to boys. We did not think that it was dangerous at all to add random strangers. Well, one of the guys I added played a lot of sports. He seemed really cool. He skateboarded. He played the guitar. I thought he was the coolest thing in the whole entire world and I was like, this is gonna be my boyfriend. So as you do when you're 13, we started dating like the next day. Mind you, I had never seen his face before. Like we would only snap pictures and his were always just like his pants or something dark and then the words across the screen. But I didn't really think anything of it because this was back when Snapchat had the little ghost where you had different pictures of your face. So there was a picture of a boy. So I thought, oh, that's him. I know what he looks like. So we're snapping back and forth. I asked him what school he went to and he said a school nearby where mine was at. I thought it was a crazy coincidence, but looking back, I had my location on, so literally anyone I added could see where I lived. I think we were snapping for about a week when he started mentioning hanging out. And obviously I wanted to, but I wasn't really allowed to date when I was 13, so I couldn't tell my parents that I was hanging out with a boy. So I told my mom that me and my friends were planning on going to the mall and she could drop me off like she normally does and come pick me up a few hours later while she runs her errands and I would just be hanging out with my friends like normal. Week of the hangout comes around and he snaps me midweek, oh, he broke his leg. So I thought we were gonna have to cancel our hangout and he was like, no, but instead of walking around the mall, what if my dad picks you up and we drive around? I was a little nervous at this idea because obviously I wasn't supposed to be meeting up with a boy and I wasn't supposed to be leaving the mall, but I agreed because I wanted to hang out with my boyfriend. So Saturday comes around, I get to the mall, I snap him that I'm at the mall and I'm waiting for him. He snaps back and says he's in the car, his dad will walk up and come find me and bring me to the car. In my mind it made sense because his leg was hurting probably, so he didn't want to walk out. And so I go outside and there's a man there and he's smiling and he's like, hey, are you here to see my son? He's in the car, let's go. So I follow him to the car, but when we get to the car, there's no one else in the car. So I kind of look at him suspicious and I'm like, where is my boyfriend at? And the dad goes, oh, he's inside the bathroom. He went inside real fast, but if you want to wait in the car, like he'll be out in a little bit. So I was a little nervous, but like I didn't really think too much of it. So I get in the car like an idiot and I'm sitting there and his dad starts asking me questions and asking me about kind of personal things that I had only shared with my boyfriend. And so I kind of asked him like, oh, how did you know that? And he's like, my son told me about you, so I was just curious how you've been doing and stuff. So we were sitting there for a little bit and I think I had mentioned him taking so long in the bathroom, like what was taking so long. And his dad was like, oh, you know, with his leg, he takes a bit longer in the bathroom now. Do you want to go drive, get McDonald's, come back and we can pick him up after we get our McDonald's? And like I was stupid enough to get in the car, but I really didn't feel like driving around with some random man that I had just met and I hadn't even seen my boyfriend. I was like a little nervous about that and some red flags were going off. So I said, yes, let's get McDonald's, but I really have to go to the bathroom first. So can I run inside, go to the bathroom, and then we can go get McDonald's? And he was like, yeah, just go in the bathroom. How about I just walk you in to make sure you get there okay? So we walk to the bathroom and we park next to the JCPenney's. The bathrooms next to JCPenney's are way smaller than the main bathrooms. And so there were only like 3 stalls in those bathrooms. And the way it is down the hallway, there's a door to enter the little hallway, and then there's the 2 doors for the girls' bathroom and the guys' bathroom. And then on the inside of the girls' bathroom, it connects to where the salon is in the JCPenney's. So you can walk in the girls' bathroom and then you can walk to the salon. So I go in the bathroom, I use the restroom, and by the time I'm done, I'm realizing like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm good. I'm kind of sketched out. Like this is weird. I'm just done. So I call my mom. I call my mom 2 times and neither time she answers. And by this point, it was taking a while and I hear him knocking on the door. And he's like, hey, are you in there? Are you okay? Do you need help? Are you good? You're taking a while. He's like, my son just went back to the car, so whenever you're done, we can go to the car and go get McDonald's. And his voice was getting kind of nervous. It just didn't seem calm or normal. Like, who checks on someone when you're in the bathroom? That's freaking weird. So I called the cops. I couldn't get a hold of my mom. I called the cops, and my mom's always taught me it's better to be safe than sorry, so I ended up calling them. And I don't know if he heard me or if I just took too long, but he goes inside the girls' bathroom and starts banging on the stall in order to see what I'm doing, and I'm obviously on the phone, and he's like, there's no need to talk to anyone, you can come out, we're in the car, obviously losing his mind. And at this point I kind of know I'm in danger, and I'm on the phone with the cops, and like they can hear what's going on, and they're like, we're sending someone, are you safe, just stay where you're at. I'm like, I'm in the bathroom. They're like, keep the door closed, keep it locked. I'm trying to get my information, trying to get descriptions of what he looks like. I thought it was stupid. I was like, just come find me, like why do you need to know all this stuff? But I'm like trying my best with my shaky voice to tell them what's going on with this grown man yelling at me. And if you've been to a mall, you know their bathrooms are not the strongest thing in the world. While he was banging on the door, he broke the part where the door locks, and he opens the bathroom and like grabs my arm and is like, come on, we need to go. I start screaming at the top of my lungs while this man is dragging me out. He made it back into the little hallway when like one of the salonists runs into the bathroom and is trying to check and make sure like someone's okay, because there's someone screaming in the bathroom, and he's like, this is okay, it's just my daughter, she doesn't want to get in the car and we need to leave. And I'm like, he's not my dad, I'm like screaming, help. And this lady doesn't know what to do, and she's screaming, you need to let her go, someone call the cops. He's trying to hurry up and leave while grabbing my arm, and we get out into like the little main entranceway, and because we're no longer in the bathrooms, there are other people around. There were two dads that ran up because this isn't normal. There's a little girl screaming, there's a guy grabbing them. They run up. As they run up, the guy lets go of me and takes off running. The salon lady runs over to me to make sure I'm okay, but the two dads run over to him to grab him, and they hold him down until the cops get there. So the police arrest him. They ask me to get in contact with my mom. My mom finally answers. They ask her to come down to the mall. They start asking me a bunch of questions to figure out what happened. I told them what was going on, and we found out that this was the man I was talking to, not a little boy. My mom was glad I was safe, but obviously she was so mad at me. She took away my phone and gave me a flip phone until I was 17 years old. And I think the creepy dude got like 15 years in jail, so he's still in there for a little bit longer.
My turn for the nightmare date night stories, and I win, just so you guys know. So it started with this guy we're gonna call Spencer. He was my high school crush. He didn't reach out to me until after high school. We never talked. We only seen each other in the hallways. But when he reached out to me after we both graduated, I was like, oh my god, you guys, Spencer just messaged me. And he was like, wow, you look so pretty now. Anyways, so I still was kind of like infatuated, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's meet up for a date. So long story short, he comes over for movies and snacks. And first red flag, he gets dropped off. He doesn't have a car, but he was like, oh no, I have a car. It's just being worked on. Yeah, whatever. So I was like, okay, what snacks do you have? And I'm like, well, I haven't got anything yet because I wasn't sure what I wanted. But I kind of don't feel like leaving. And he said, well, I'll go get it for you if you tell me what you want. And I'm like, how? And he was like, I could just take your car. And I know, I shouldn't have. But I really was like, oh my god, it's Spencer. And the store was across the street. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll tell you what I want. Nope, he's gone. He shuts his phone off. Hours have passed. And before anyone's like, well, why didn't you call the police? I lived somewhere where, like, you didn't want to call the police. You didn't want to be caught outside talking to cops. You didn't want to be labeled a snitch. So now I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. Because he came over at, like, 1 p.m. and it is now, like, 9 p.m. And I'm like, shoot. So he banging on the door. He starts banging on the door. I open it up. He's standing there. He's covered in blood. He's shaking. He's crying. And I'm like, oh my god. And he was like, let me in. And he like pushes past me. And he's like locking the doors. And he's looking out the blinds. And he's like, close everything. Lock all the doors. Close all the blinds. And I'm like, what's going on? And he said that when he went to the store, he seen someone that he owed money to. And that he beat him up and then made him drive everywhere. In my car, also. Made him drive all over the place with him. And then they drove out to a trailer in the middle of nowhere. It was, when they got in, it was like a lab, if you will. And that there was a woman in there that this man, right in front of him, and it splattered all over him. And then he was like, if you don't get me my money, this is what will happen to you. And you have 2 days. And then he allowed him to leave. And he came back to my house. He talking about, what should we do? We, what do you mean, I said, you need to leave, ain't no we, I don't know. So, tell me why I go out to my car and I'm looking around, make sure there weren't nothing in it that wasn't supposed to be in there. There was a for sale sign that he had put in my car, that he wrote his information on and my car's information. Like he was going to sell my car to get money to give that man. I mean, I feel like I got y'all beat. I don't know.
My brother's girlfriend faked her pregnancy for 9 months. I honestly don't even know where to begin in this story. I feel like I'm living in a Lifetime movie right now, or I'm just having a fever dream and waiting to wake up. In December, my brother broke up with his girlfriend, who he had been with for about 6 months, and she was worlds better than his ex. In January, he decided to get back together with his ex after realizing that she was pregnant, and I just had this sickening feeling like, really great timing, but I kind of just pushed it aside and thought there's no way. Their first appointment and ultrasound kept getting delayed, and I kept thinking again that this was just suspicious, but I really didn't want to put that thought in my brother's head if it weren't true. Finally, they had their first appointment and confirmed everything, so I thought. So at this point, my suspicions pretty much faded. I mean, they went to an appointment, they had an ultrasound, and they heard the heartbeat. Fast forward to future appointments like their anatomy scan and all those other appointments, my alarm bells definitely dinged, but nothing too crazy. Their anatomy scan had been pushed back a little bit due to scheduling, but then they eventually had it and everything looked good. I just wish that I could go back and ask more questions, but more specifically ask my brother more questions. But I realize now that I definitely talked to his girlfriend a lot more because she was reaching out to me, and now that I think back, there were so many red flags that I just ignored. They were due last week. They had an induction scheduled on Friday, but then there were no beds, so it was pushed to Saturday, and then again it was pushed to Sunday. Still though, I thought it was normal because my induction took me a little bit of time to get in, and there had been recent storms, so I thought maybe there was just an overflow in the hospital. They were finally set to go in this morning at 10 a.m. Bags were packed, car seat was installed. They called me at around 8:30 this morning. They were definitely anxious, but they were also super excited. And then again at 3, my brother called me. My brother's girlfriend faked her pregnancy for 9 months. I answered the phone and he basically goes, "She lied." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And that's when I realized that my absolute worst fears just came true. He explained to me that she miscarried after the first appointment and just didn't know how to tell anyone. I had talked with her countless times about my own pregnancy and my own experience. I planned their gender reveal. I even booked a room to go stay near them after they had their baby with my toddler and my newborn. I was absolutely furious when he told me this. I mean, who does that? Who lies about a pregnancy and a whole baby for 9 months? How can I be there for my brother in this? Like, how can I make sure that he deals with his trauma and his grief? This has to be so heartbreaking for him. I'm just so scared of him spiraling, and I just don't know what to do to prevent it. And I also have no idea what the hell I'm gonna say to friends and clients. I've been so excited to become an aunt and for our babies to be so close in age because I just had my newborn. I just don't really know how to move past this, and again, how does someone do this? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Even telling me that I was dumb to ignore the red flags would be greatly appreciated at this point.
Get ready with me as I tell you things my ex did and I still fucking stayed. Besties, it's gonna get like progressively worse. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? First off, a little history. We were together for 6 years and we lived together 3 of those years. Start off, this man texted girls, bitches, whatever you want to call them, on fucking Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, fucking Twitter, fucking email, whatever the fuck, like literally anything you can think of, he did it. He would always put his friends before me, let his friends talk down on me. We broke up in December, and let me tell you, last year was the craziest fucking year ever. Like, you thought that was bad? Hold on. He started going out clubbing every single day. When I tell you every single day, I mean like Monday through fucking Sunday. Like, bitch. Say that mid-year last year was when everything like went really like out of hand. I found videos of him fucking like 3 different bitches, and like, bro, like I did not think that man was capable of all that. Like, what? Bro, like I was fucking disgusted. Like literally like fucking videos of him like doing the fucking deed with these bitches. Like, and I still fucking stayed. Bitch, I can't even keep going. Story short, we ended up working things out or whatever, and we stayed. And of course, like, you know, these men changed for like a week, 2 weeks, a month or whatever, and then they go back on their bullshit. Well, that's exactly what happened. He went back on the fucking bullshit. So my birthday's in November, and like I told y'all, we broke up in December. Anyways, so November comes by, my birthday is happening, and this man didn't do shit. He did not do shit but get up like at 2 in the morning, took a shower, and fucking dipped. Didn't come back till like fucking 7 a.m. I had like by then hacked into his fucking Snapchat and saw that he was texting some bitch, and you already know what the fuck happened. Like, there's no way, like, you don't come home all fucking night, you take a shower and you leave. And then he still had the audacity to like gaslight me and say like, oh no, I didn't do nothing, I didn't go anywhere, I just went to go take my friend somewhere. Yes, girl, this man had me fucking deaf, blind, mute. Like, bitch, I don't even know what the fuck, like, what the fuck. He said I was ugly, boring, and that having intercourse with me was boring, and that's why he fucked those girls. Narcissist or what? Because then he would be like, I didn't mean any of that. Huh? Would leave me crying while he would go party. Get posted with bitches on club pages for everyone that knew us to see. That's fucking embarrassing, bro. I was depressed, lost hella weight, stopped doing shit around the house because of course I was fucking depressed, and he had the audacity to say that he was cheating on me because I wasn't doing shit around the house. Mind you, when I did do shit for him, literally I would get him up for work, fucking dress him up like if he was a fucking child. He still cheated on me, so like, what? Would ask me if his outfit looked good every time he would go out to the clubs, knowing damn well he was gonna try to pick up some hoes. And I still fucking stayed. Was it voodoo, witchcraft? I don't fucking know, but this man had me like this. Literally lied to me for years, gaslit me, had me fucking traumatized to the point I don't even know what the fuck was going on in my brain, my mind. I don't fucking know. I don't know what the fuck was the reason we finally broke up. What was the reason I finally left this man? His friend posted a video of them at the club or whatever, and in the corner I saw him talking it up with some chick, and he gave her a side hug. A side hug, girl. That's what finally did it for me, and I was like, I'm done. The week after we broke up, he said he was gonna go stay with his brother and that we should talk things out and I shouldn't move out because he still wanted me to stay with him or whatever. Come to find out, he was not going to stay at his brother's. He was gonna go meet up with some girl he had met the week before. And he did. And he basically never came back. She let him stay there without knowing him, and he stayed there with her because I told him I was done, I was gonna leave. And basically, yeah, he never came back home, and I left. I have a video posted about all that shit already, somewhere down, below, down. I'll pin it if y'all want to watch it. They're gonna be like, bitch, it was your own fault. And I agree with you. It was my own fault, because how the fuck did I let somebody fucking keep me down like that for so fucking long? Because, like, bitch, what the fuck? I truly believe last year was fucking hectic because I think God was like, bitch, I gave you fucking signs already, multiple signs, and you did not take them, so here, take the whole fucking book right now and leave. And that's what happened. So, like, don't wait like me, girl. Don't fucking wait that fucking long to fucking leave a toxic ass relationship like that. And the saddest part is that that's literally only half of the shit that went down in my relationship. So I think I can say that I'm fucking traumatized, bitch, because, like, what the fuck? I was 17, now I'm 24. I dated one guy and it felt like I dated seven fucking guys, because what? I got like a different guy every single year. Seven guys for 7 years. That's what he made me feel like. Anyways, yeah, please let me know I wasn't the only stupid one like this. And if you have nothing nice to say at all, please don't say anything. Like, I don't need y'all to fucking call me stupid, pendeja. It's all your fucking fault. Like, bitch, I know it's my fucking fault. Nobody told me to be in that situation but myself, okay? So if you're gonna be commenting shit like that, like, get the fuck out. Anyways, okay, bye.
So I just got done a bridal party, and I was thinking about the most horrifying thing that's ever happened to me while I was doing makeup. So I had this maid of honor sit in my chair, and I feel like it's common sense when you go get your makeup done that you would not have makeup on your face. But every once in a while, you get people that either like have a little bit of makeup on, like tinted sunscreen, maybe a little mascara, or they just didn't like clean their face really good the night before and they have a little bit of residue. So of course, I always do like a quick cleanse with like a micellar water or whatnot. So this maid of honor sits down in my chair, right? And she definitely has mascara on. And it's like a lot of mascara. Like, doesn't look like she had tried to remove it, which I found strange. But, you know, I played it cool. I was just like, hey, I'm just going to remove your mascara. And she was like, oh, sorry. I never take my mascara off. Come again? You heard her right. I never take my mascara off. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I just deadpan stared at her because it was taking me a minute to process the words that were coming out of her mouth. So I asked her to clarify, or maybe I just reiterated what she said back to me in a questioning tone. I was like, you never take your mascara off? Like, you never take it off? She was like, yeah, like what's on my eyes right now is like 3 to 4 months worth of mascara. I just wake up the next day and put more on. You do what? You do what? You do what now? I think I was just like, oh, okay. And I'm soaking a cotton pad with micellar water and placing it on her lashes and trying to get this mascara off. And she was definitely telling the truth because this mascara was so caked onto her lashes. It was coming off in like chunks. And then there was still so much product left on her eyeballs. And I was flabbergasted. But the thing is, I, at the time, had just recently retired from doing lash extensions. So I have a little bit of knowledge up in the noggin about eye health and lash health. Maybe this was a little aggressive, but honestly, I definitely came at it from an educational standpoint, but I also kind of wanted to be like, Miss Ma'am, is it not clocking that is gross, that you don't ever take your mascara off? So I decided to educate her about lash mites. Now, lash mites are an issue that some people have when they get lash extensions because lashes are meant to be like a defense mechanism for your eyes, so that when there's like debris, dead skin, makeup, oils, that kind of stuff, it kind of sweeps it away from the eye. So when you have a lash extension on top, it doesn't allow you to do that, which is why you're supposed to wash your lash extensions with a lash shampoo. I was like, hey, I don't know if you realize, but if you're not completely cleaning your lashes and removing your makeup in its entirety, you're gonna get buildup in there. You're gonna get dead skin, you're gonna get oils, you're gonna have bacteria. And what happens is these little teeny tiny mites start having a feast. I looked this girl straight in her eyeballs and I said, you probably have lash mites because there's lots and lots for them to be eating right now because you're not cleaning your lashes. I think she was mortified. I think she was actually mortified. And, you know, from time to time, I think about that girl and I wonder if she still does that, or if I terrified her enough, if I scarred her for life by telling her that she has little Denny bugs living in her lashes and eating her old mascara and dead skin and all that jazz. I wonder if she learned her lesson. I hope she's doing good.
Story time of why I will literally not be nice to anyone ever again. Unless you know them really well, people will take advantage of you, and this happened to me a few months ago. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it, but I'm tired of taking into account people's feelings that I do not care about anymore. You disrespected me, why would I show you respect by not doing a story time on you? Anyway, so there's this girl that I was briefly friends with for a while. We kind of connected just through Instagram. She kind of did social media as well. And I kind of love it when people are super passionate about those things. Like, I want to help them out, even though she was like a much smaller creator. I love ambitious people and I want to be around people that are ambitious like that. And we got along really well over text. So we met up a few times, and like, she's a very over the top person. So definitely not someone that I could picture myself hanging out with consistently, because it would just be too draining for me. Like, she was fun in doses, like once in a while. I met her family too, and they were so nice, so sweet. Like, yeah, so we were friends, but we weren't like super close. Like, she wasn't my number one bestie, but I think I was for her, maybe. Anyway, so we haven't talked for a very long time, and then I randomly get a call from her, and she's like crying and screaming. She's like, oh my god, I'm getting kicked out, like, you have to help me. She's like, my parents are kicking me out because I have an OnlyFans. Like, I'm sorry, what? Anyways, so she's basically saying she's getting kicked out and she needs me to come pick her up, and she lives so far away. She lives like 30 minutes away, but obviously I don't want to be a shitty person, and like, I'm a yes man. Like, I will do anything for people. And I'm like, okay, so I come pick her up, and I'm assuming that she's gonna go and live at her man's house, because I really don't want her living with me, because I only have my room in my place right now. It's not like I have a spare bedroom. Like, she would have to stay with me in my room, and I hate people. Like, I like being alone. So anyways, I'm kind of suggesting in the car when I pick her up, hey, maybe you should like go to your man's house. And she's like, no, like, would I be able to just stay at your place for a little bit while I like figure things out? And I'm like, you know what, it's fine, you can stay for like 2 days. Like, I'm a busy person and I have things to do, and I can't really focus when like I have someone around me. And tell me why, like, I look at her Instagram story after, and she's like posting about how she's moving to California. Like, what? Like, this girl was crying to me about how she's getting kicked out and she's so upset, but she's posting on her Instagram story that with her luggage, oh my god, moving to LA. Like, what? Crazy vibes, guys. Literally crazy. Anyway, so she shows up to my house, gets herself real comfortable, sits at this makeup table that I'm sitting at right here. She's like, can I use your makeup? And I'm like, sure. So she's sitting there calling people, doing her makeup for like 4 hours straight. I'm sitting there in my bed trying to do my work, and she's playing her music out loud or calling people. Even her friends were like, what are you doing? You're so disrespectful. Why are you sitting at someone's makeup desk right now and like blasting music? Check out part 2. It gets a lot worse. Part 2 of why I will literally never be nice to anyone. Anyway, so this girl is getting real comfortable at my house and freaking calling her sugar daddies, being like, oh my god, I'm homeless, can you pay for my rent, whatever. And when I'm done like doing my stuff, I'm like, okay, we need to talk. Like, we need to figure out what you're gonna do. Like, maybe you should stop your OnlyFriends and go back home. Because this girl would make like literally $200 a month off of her OnlyFriends. And I'm like, you can make more at McDonald's. I was like, wait until you have a bigger following and then maybe try to pursue that if you really want. But like, right now, you don't really have many options. I would just stay home with your parents and respect their decision of not having one. And then she'll be like, oh my god, this is like, conversation is stressing me out. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, what do you mean you don't want to talk about it? You're not staying at my freaking house. Like, we need to figure out what you're gonna do. You don't want to go back home. You don't have a job. You can't just live at my house. Oh, and this is very important, but I told her that she was not allowed to smoke weed in my house because, first of all, like, I'm chill. I don't care if you smoke weed, but like, her mom messaged me and was like, hey, we didn't kick her out. She basically chose to leave, and like, we just want her to get help with like her addictions and stuff like that. And like, she cannot smoke weed. She's like, her doctor has told her that she cannot smoke weed or else she will go crazy. So I'm like, okay, while you're in my house, you need to respect my rules. Like, it's not just you can do whatever you want to do. You can't smoke weed in my house. She's like, yep, not a problem. This is, by the way, foreshadowing. Anyway, so I literally sleep on the couch that night because she is in my bed rolling the fuck around and like, I cannot sleep. And she's like snoring. So anyways, I sleep on the couch and then I had to go to the work the next day. Guys, tell me why. I come back from work and this girl is not at my house. And I walk into my room and my clothes are all over the floor. I have a shirt in my bathroom sink. My makeup desk is a mess. My closet, like, don't even get me started. I come in and I'm so angry because this girl literally trashed my room. And like, I knew she was a messy person just from hanging out with her. Like, things would get so dirty so fast. But like, girl, really? And she used one of my brand collaboration like products. I told her she could use a little bit of it. She took 1/3 of the fucking Tatcha cream, and I was supposed to make a video for it, and she took like 1/3 of it and used it. I haven't even touched that product yet. Like, how did you manage to use that much moisturizer in one day? So this girl who literally has no money is texting me being like, can you pick me up from the mall? Don't worry, I didn't buy anything. Like, what? Like, you're not taking anything seriously. You clearly don't, like, why am I having you at my house? You're clearly not in need of any help. So I go pick her up, she comes back, whatever. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go see my man. And he goes and picks her up, and then I'm just ranting to my roommates because I'm like, guys, this is literally driving me insane. And she's asking me to stay longer, and I'm like, girl, no, you gotta go. And then my roommates tell me that she was doing something while I was at work. Check out part 3, last part, I promise. Okay, so I'm gonna have to finish this story in my car because I'm running late for work. Sorry, April. Okay, so anyway, so my roommates are like, when you went to work, this girl went outside, left the door open, and started smoking weed, and the house absolutely dinked. They're like, it smelled so bad. And I'm furious because I'm like, there's no way this girl just disrespected me even more. Like, she ruined my room, she didn't let me sleep, and now she's going against like what the one thing that I asked her. So I'm so angry, and I just text her. I'm like, you disrespected me, like, you're not welcome in my house, I'm dropping you off home. And this girl, like, even earlier on when I was telling her that I didn't want her at my house, she's like, oh, like, see, I'm like a really understanding person, and I feel like if this happened to you, I would be a much better friend, and like, I would let you stay at mine for however long you needed. Like, girl, I literally don't care what you would and wouldn't do. That is not me. You are not staying at my house. Ugh, I'm literally so angry just talking about this right now. Like, I would not have minded her staying at my place at all if she was respectful of my space, if I could see that she was actually putting effort in to try and, like, you know, not be homeless, I guess. But, like, it's not even like she got kicked out. Like, her parents welcomed her back. She was just being a snotty little brat. And, like, I wish I went off on her because I was just so nice, and I like felt bad, and I was like, I don't want to, like, you know, ruin her mental health. She's already like so fragile or whatever, but like, girl, you, like, she was so bad. And this is why I am never letting anyone come into my house again and freeload off of me. Never.
Okay, so I was gonna make a skit because you guys love my skits, but I can't make this story into a skit because there's just too many components to the story. This is about a story between my family and my in-laws, okay? So this happened many years ago. So every summer, my husband and I, for the last 15 years, we book a beach house on Seaside in Oregon. We live up in Washington. It's about a 2 or 3 hour drive from us. And normally we go for a week and we stay either just ourselves or we invite my husband's family. And this year, I just wanted to try with my family. I was like, how about we do the vacation with my family? I normally don't do vacations with my family because it turns into drama, as you can tell from my content. Well, I tried. I booked this huge beach house that would fit. It was actually 2 different houses on one property for my whole family. And a couple days into this, my in-laws, they saw pictures we were posting on Facebook of us at the beach. And they were like, oh, how cool. Can we come up for a few hours and take the grandkids around Seaside, since they weren't doing the vacation with us that year? My husband and I are like, of course, why not? Well, I let my mom know, and she is livid that the in-laws would take over her vacation. Now, by the way, it's not like my parents are hanging out with my kids, wanting one-on-one time, that they're gonna take away time from hanging out with their grandkids. My parents don't do that. They were off doing their own thing half the time. And my husband and I were like, cool, on this week vacation, we're gonna get a little bit of a break because most of my kids are like toddlers at this point. We're gonna get a break and my husband and I can go do something for us for a few hours. Well, so my in-laws get up there and they come to take the kids. My husband and I stay back because this is the kind of people my in-laws are. They're all about our kids. And they go off with our kids, and my husband and I are like, cool, we're just gonna have a chill little time at the house by ourselves or without having to watch kids, right? Well, my family is livid. And so they leave. And so my husband and I had suggested on this trip that we should all do they have these really huge bicycles that everybody can ride, like huge. You can fit like 12 people on these bicycles and you can bicycle through town. And my husband and I had suggested this as like a fun family thing that we were gonna do at some point on this trip. Like, we all said we were gonna do it. Well, my husband and I are sitting out on the porch, and guess what my whole family comes riding by on. That bicycle, laughing, making as much noise. Do you think they looked at us and waved or no? I mean, that probably would have made it worse, to be honest. But no, they made a point to come drive by the house where they knew me and my husband would be, being as loud as possible and do this. And I'm just like, my husband is already livid that they're treating his parents this way, but then to treat us that way. And of course, my mom gets back to the house and I go off on her. I'm like, what is your problem? Like, genuinely, what is your problem? Like, something's not right up here. Something's just not right up here. And she just goes off on me of how disrespectful I am to allow them to come up for a few hours on this week vacation. Yeah, that's how petty my family is.
Silly, goofy things my mother-in-law has done to me and my husband. Okay, to start things off, she tried to bribe my husband. Oh, she was also harassing my parents about wedding planning and telling everyone that my parents were bullying her and steamrolling her and being awful to her. So she's like crying on the balcony. And my fiance at the time sees her crying on the balcony. Mind you, this woman never cries. This is like a big deal. He comes over to me like, why are your parents being awful? Like, my mom said this and this and this and this. Your parents are being horrible and like, this is not okay. Like, he had the audacity. I had just spent a weekend with my parents because they live in another state. And they were like, hey, sweetie, we don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a miscommunication. Maybe it's a cultural thing. But you should look at these texts. And it's my mother-in-law being a psycho. So I see these text messages and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm mortified because she's treating my parents this way. So my fiance at the time picks me up from the airport and he's upset because he just saw his mom crying on the balcony. Real theatrical. And he thinks my parents are bullying her to the point of tears. I'm pissed because his mom's being a bench. He's like, why are your parents being so mean? And I'm like, hold the phone. I have receipts. Read the receipts. He reads them, immediately calls my parents, is like, I am so sorry. And like apologizes on her behalf. Like, I don't know why she's acting like this. I don't know what's going on. My fiance and I decide we need to talk to her about this. Like, this is obviously a miscommunication. Something got lost in the mix and we can clear this up. I like to resolve things. I'm like, it's okay. We go over there. Well, let's talk about it. Let's figure out what's going on and let's clear this all up. That way we can have a wonderful wedding. So we go over there. She is sat in the living room and my father-in-law. She is pissed. We're like, hey, we want to talk about like what's going on. We want to clear this up. She goes crazy. She's like, your parents this, your parents that, your parents are horrible people, blah, 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 blah. Low-key, I think it was like a sprinkle of racism in there. Your parents are awful. Your parents are blah, blah, blah. I've read the texts. So I'm like, respectfully, I disagree. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I just don't agree with what you're saying. She blows up because I wasn't really reacting. She blows up and she's like, you're abusive. You're emotionally abusing me. You're a liar. You're a manipulator. I'm shocked because previous to this, I thought we were tight. I thought we had a great relationship. And she's screaming at me. I had never interacted with someone that toxic before. I was in complete shock. I couldn't believe it was happening. So I didn't react. All I said was, I'm so sorry you feel that way, but I don't agree with what you're saying. She's like, you should agree. You should agree. I'm not reacting. So I think she gets pissed off. She turns to my husband. And basically, she's like, you're a horrible son. None of your siblings like you. You've caused so many issues and this and this and this and this and that. That was the most hurtful part of the conversation for me because I could not believe that a mother would treat her son that way. That was foreign to me. I grew up in a healthy home. I'm very blessed, very grateful. I could not imagine a mom trying to hurt her son on purpose just to get a reaction. She's going crazy, yelling, screaming, making my fiance feel horrible about himself. I am there, shocked. We end the conversation somehow. Father-in-law to be. He's like, are we good? I am stunned. We end the conversation. And this was my first huge red flag about her, where I was like, this isn't normal. And all of the other things followed. So after that, she starts spreading a bunch of rumors about me to the family. She says, maybe I'm pregnant. This is a shotgun wedding. I was a virgin! I am after their money. I'm a gold digger. I'm trying to ensnare their son because I'm a gold digger. I wish there was gold. There was no gold. Didn't think there was gold. I thought they were poor. Literally thought they were poor. But that's beside the point. doesn't matter. Try to turn the whole family against me. Then my mother and father-in-law proceed to try to bribe my husband, pay him off to cancel the wedding. Because it was so stressful for my mother-in-law. This wedding was so stressful. This wedding that she was not planning, that my family was planning. So they offer him $5,000 to cancel the wedding. He says no. So they double down and offer him $10,000 to cancel the wedding and not marry me. So there's a lot of things I could say because she did some other heinous things. And I think I'm just going to have to make this a series.
Storytime why you should never ever lend money to anyone ever, but especially not family. Stories about my ex-in-laws, and I'm not sharing it to blow up their spot, but more so that I have 3 kids of my own that I'm raising to be a lot more financially savvy than I was at their age or the age that my ex-in-laws were when they guilted us into lending them thousands of dollars. I was left with so much financial trauma from this whole situation that it altered my brain chemistry and changed the way I approach money for the better. Let me set the scene. I was about 24 or 25 at the time. We had just bought our first condo the year prior, and I was the primary breadwinner. I was working full-time, and my then husband, he was a grad student, so he only received a small stipend. So I was the primary earner. I was paying the mortgage, I was paying the utilities. I was also an evening law student, a part-time, evening law student. So I was stretched thin. I was exhausted. A year later, we find out we are having our first baby, which is great news. And being the responsible earner that I am, I knew that I wouldn't be getting maternity leave because at the time they didn't have paid maternity leave. FMLA, if you're not familiar, it only guarantees your job for 3 months. It doesn't force the employer to pay you. I wasn't going to be paid for the 3 months. So I was planning to save. I was basically stacking cash because I knew that even though we had a very stretched thin budget, I, was going to be out on maternity leave for at least 3 months while I was having the baby. I'm going to curl my eyelashes. Okay, so fast forward 9 months later, I am fully pregnant. It is the dead ass heat of the summer. I come home from working because I'm still working full time up until I have this baby. Come home and I hear my then husband on the phone, and I could tell he was having like a very heated conversation. And so I just stayed quiet and I overheard him, and then I heard him kind of getting teary-eyed and arguing, and he was crying. Turned out he was on the phone with his mom, and I listened to the conversation, and they were asking for money. What I heard from on his end was, don't you guys know that Cindy's having a baby soon? We don't have the money. And I just hear him saying over and over, we don't have the money. Cindy is about to have this baby. And he's like very teary and listening. And then the phone went from his mom to his older sister. Now, she gets on the phone, and I don't really remember what his side of the conversation was, but essentially later he tells me what they all said. Basically, his parents were in the process of downsizing their home. They had literally at one point it was appraised at $1 million. Very affluent neighborhood in the state where we both lived at the time. And they were in the process of downsizing. They were empty nesters, and they wanted to downsize to a less expensive place in a less expensive, lower cost of living state. The problem is they had over leveraged themselves for years. My in-laws were people who, by all accounts, were, I guess, upper middle class. My mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law, was a doctor. They both were retired. My ex-father-in-law had worked for the government, service, whatever. She was a doctor. Like, you would think that they have all this money ready to go, right? But they didn't. And the problem is, even though they had $1 million home, they had no equity in it. That's because over the 20 or however many years that they lived in the home, they were constantly taking money out, taking out HELOCs, home equity, line of credit, second mortgages, whatever, against the home. And look, do whatever you want with your money. I disagree with taking out HELOCs unless it's, something to do with the house generally. But they were taking money out so that they could finance new cars constantly. And also every time they would take, every other year, they would go on a very, grand vacation trip overseas to visit family for an extended time and also bring their whole family. So all these trips were constantly being paid for by taking out multiple loans against the home. And the problem when you do that is eventually you will be underwater, which is what they were. They were so overextended on their home and what they owed on the house that even though the house at one point appraised at $1 million, and even though they had a buyer who was willing to pay the amount that they listed it for, the bank for the buyer wouldn't approve the new mortgage amount. And they were short $50,000. They were so cash strapped that they didn't have the $50K to get it to close. And they then were going around and asking everyone in the family, including the kids like us, who were expecting kids of their own, because I was 9 months pregnant. We're going around asking everyone if they could borrow thousands of dollars. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I forgot that initial call when I first walked in that day, they weren't even asking straight up for money. They were asking if they could use our excellent credit to open up a line of credit, open up a credit card, so that they could use that line of credit to pay for renovations to the house that needed to be done in order to sell it and to list it. And also, to go back, another reason that they were terrible with money, when my then husband and I were looking to get pre-qualified to, for a mortgage to buy our first home, that was when we found out that his father, because they had the same name, he was the third and his dad was the junior, their grandfather was senior. His father was in the habit of constantly opening up new credit cards, car notes in his son's name. So when we pulled up our credit report to get pre-qualified for a home, my then husband found out that he had terrible credit. His credit score was in the tank. And when they went back and looked at the actual credit lines, like the craziest one was he had a car note in his name from when he was in 10th grade. So we went through so much trouble to like clean it up. They, we made them, I guess, pay off some of the notes. I don't remember what it was, but finally we pre-qualified for this like very modest little house or condo. So they were initially asking if they could open up a credit card in our names, and he was refusing. He was saying, I'd really rather not. And, then he kept bringing up the baby and that I'm pregnant and, we need this money. It was when they got the sister on the phone, because she lived with Oz at the time. They put the sister on the phone and she kept trying to guilt him, her own brother, and saying, well, it's just credit. You're not going to pay for your baby with credit, are you? Which was just such a crazy statement to say. Basically, they were asking for us to open up a credit card. We declined because I don't want to open up new credit. I was very diligent about protecting my credit and my credit score. I had about, at that time, something like $10,000 in my emergency savings, because that was what I needed to sustain us when I was going to be out on maternity leave. Eventually, they wore him down and wore us down and guilted us. They were like, well, we contributed this much to your wedding. We lent them $5,000. Yeah, lent $5,000 on the agreement that they would pay us back within a certain time frame upon closing, because they were like, oh, we're going to get it back at closing and then we'll cut you a check that same day. We're like, okay, these are the terms for repayment. And guess what? You think that they followed those terms? No. And it led to so much drama and eventually a divorce.